Okay. I want you to notice that we have the expression shall I, but we say like shall I.
Shall I?
Shall I?
Shall I?
Yeah. Shall we? Shall we? Okay. The other thing that I would like you to notice that is very important, my friend, is the pronunciation of the verb to call in the past, which is not, we don't say called. This is not correct. We say called. It's similar in pronunciation to cold. Yeah, similar in pronunciation. The past of the verb to call, the past of the verb to call is not called. This is wrong. The past of the verb to call is cold. Cold. Can you repeat, please? Cold.
Cold.
Cold. Yes. So and then we have what's it cold? What's it cold? It's cold. Consequently, it's cold. Okay. What's it called? It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. Yeah, and then now I wanted to notice that we have a verb there, and the verb is the verb. Listen, when we have the letter I think you remember I told you before that the letter I has 3 different sounds. Which are the 3 different sounds of the letter I in English? Well, the first sound is I. The second sound is E, E, E,
E,
E, E,
E,
E.
E,
The third one is E.
E.
So, but the E sound, but the E sound is not so much used. It's like few words have this, like minute, we have minute, taxi, some words with this E. Most of the words with the letter I, they bring this I or E sound. And with this verb, the pronunciation is with the sound, with the E sound. So we say live, live. And why am I telling you this, my friend? Because you see the other verb, which is the verb leave, with E and A together, E. So the first one with I, we say E, live, live. And the other one, leave, and they are different verbs. You know that. You know that. Okay, so the verb is to live, and then the other word is life. We live our lives, and then we will talk about this later. Yeah. So the opposite of the verb to live, the opposite of the verb to live is the verb to die. The opposite of the verb to live is the verb to die. Okay? And what is the verb we use to indicate we started living? The beginning of our living. Yeah? So we started living. What is the verb we use to indicate that? Is the verb, we have here the word born, but actually it's to be born. To be born. We always use the word born with the verb to be. Born is not a verb itself without any other component with it. We need to use the verb to be with it. So we have to be born. To be born. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a strange verb because it's a verb that we never say like I am born.
Yeah.
No, because it happened in the past. For example, in my case, 43 years ago. So I say, I was born in Pindamonhangaba. I was born in the year 1979. I was born. Okay? And let's suppose your wife is pregnant. If your wife is pregnant, your child will be born in 2 months' time, in 3 days' time, let's suppose. It's just a suggestion. So what I'm telling you is, the verb born is always used with to be born. Okay?
Yeah.
So, we have the word arrive, which is a verb. And what does that verb mean? What does that indicate? Well, you are in a place. For example, I'm here in a room. Yes? And if somebody enters the room now, if somebody comes into the room now, I can say that the person is arriving, is coming into the room, is arriving. Or I can use another example. Probably this is not the best example. When you are at the airport, yes, you're expecting the airplane, like somebody's coming to visit you, and then you're expecting the airplane to arrive. To land is to land, but because the airplane is arriving. So that's to arrive. Okay?
Okay.
The opposite of the verb arrive is leave. Leave. This is why it's important, the difference in pronunciation between live and leave. Live and leave, because depending on the situation is one or the other one.
And the similar sound to live.
To live, which one?
To live. L-O-V.
L-O?
Yeah, live.
Love.
Live.
Love. Yes, close. I know. Yeah, I understand you. Love, to live, to leave. Yes, love, live, leave. Okay, very good. Before we continue on this vocabulary, I'd like to talk about the expressions shall I and shall we. First of all, I need to ask you, do you know the meaning of the word shall? Okay, let's start from this. The word shall in English is absolutely the same as the word will. Yes, will. Will, that is the auxiliary verb for the future, to indicate the future. Shall is the same as will. I think this is the first time you see this.
And why I need to know that?
Why? And then I will tell you why. Because shall I and shall we are expressions and people use it a lot. For example, if I want to invite you to do something, it's very common to hear the expression, shall we have a beer? Shall we go there? Shall we do this together? Shall we think about this? Shall we, for example, it's absolutely the same as let's. For example, when you have like let's do it, let's go. It's the let's. Instead of let's, you can hear people saying, shall we? This is why you need to know this. And then you say, but do people use that? Yes, they do. They do. I want to give you an example. There is a film called Shall We Dance with Richard Gere. In Portuguese, the translation was Dança Comigo, something like this. Okay? But the name in English is Shall We Dance? Shall We Dance? So, shall we is a way of asking somebody to do something with you. So, what do I tell you? What do I mean? Shall we use for suggestions. We use it to make a suggestion. This is why we are using the word suggestion there. Do you understand the word suggestion?
Suggest
Like Portuguese. So when you make a suggestion, we make suggestions using shall we. So, shall we go to the cinema today? I don't have much money. Shall we eat at home tonight? It's cheaper. Okay, so it's a way of making a suggestion. If you want to make a suggestion, you use the expression shall we. On the other hand, you don't want to make a suggestion, but you want to offer something to you. When you offer help, when you offer something to somebody, usually help, when you offer to do something for another person. If you want to offer service, you want to offer help, you want to offer to do something to somebody else, okay? We use the expression shall I. And shall I is just like, can I? Or would you like me to do this for you? For example, shall I open the window? Shall I open the window is like asking you, what do you think if I open the window for you? So like, can I open the window for, like, it's for you because I am suggesting this to you, but I'm offering this to you. Shall I open the window? Or shall I make you a coffee? Shall I make you a coffee? Like, would you like some coffee? Would you like me to prepare some coffee for you? I would say, shall I make you a coffee? Okay? Do you understand? Shall I repeat it? Shall I repeat it? In other words, would you like me to repeat it? That's the point.
Yeah, it's not shall we, it's not similar, only will. I know, but
In these cases, man, in here with these expressions, no. It's not used with the meaning of will. No, it's not used. I'm telling you the origin of the word shall. The word shall comes from very old English, when back then they had the word shall to indicate future. And then with the evolution of the language, the word will come up because languages, they change throughout the times, you know. For example, the Portuguese is spoken when the Portuguese first came to Brazil is not the same Portuguese we speak today.
Yeah.
It's a different language. So that's what I'm telling you. Shall is just like a Shakespeare time expression.
Yeah.
So, and it indicates future. And then you ask me, but do we use it with the meaning of future? No, people don't use it. It's true. But culturally speaking, like it's a cultural thing. Well, they still use the word shall in these two expressions. But I want to tell you more. In legal documents, especially in documents that you guys are used to signing, SLA, you sign SLAs, SLAs. You sign this kind of documents. These kind of documents, you are telling what to do. You're giving deadlines, you're telling time, when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. And when you are going to express an obligation, like a legal obligation, the word that we use to indicate this in a document is shall. Even nowadays, it's used in legal documents. For example, the provider shall offer 80 hours support. Shall give 8 hours support. Shall give darão, like it's an obligation, or like deverão dar. It brings this force, this, you know, this obligation, this legal obligation. You know, so it's a word important to learn, to know that it exists. Okay.
Shall I make a coffee? That's right.
Oh yes, in this case you are offering me this? Shall I make you a coffee? Or not shall I, you don't need to say, shall I make you a coffee? You can say, shall I make us a coffee? Yeah, you are offering coffee to me and to yourself. Shall I make us a coffee? Yeah?
So